Ciao friends, today I want to talk about the Moose, which I believe is Canadian for greatest of all time. Nicholas Latifi. As I record this, it's the week after the Hungarian Grand Prix. We've started the summer break now in F1. And, as you may know, Nicholas Latifi scored his first points, being his own teammate George Russell, and it looks likely that he'll finish with 6 points since Sebastian Vettel's disqualification, which means for the first time since 2017, Williams have had double-digit points in a Formula 1 season. All from one race, in fact. And if he does score 6, that's twice as many in one race as George Russell managed in his Mercedes drive. I joke, of course, I don't think anyone is arguing that George Russell isn't the better driver of the two, genuinely. But the fact is, Nicholas Latifi gets a lot of flack, being a Canadian driver whose dad's a billionaire who basically paid for him to have a seat in F1, while being invested in another team. I've heard that one before. Quite frankly, if there's a pay driver who is managing to keep up with Lewis Hamilton's heir apparent, then he's really not that bad, is he? And simply, I think Latifi gets far too much criticism for the results that he actually ends up achieving in Formula 1. And Formula 2 before that. Because let's not forget, in 2019, he came second in the championship. And I know it was not necessarily the most competitive of years, but he was pretty close to Nick de Vries for that entire run. And that does have to count for something, considering the year before, Lando Norris came second, and the year after it was Callum Ilott, and third in 2018, Alex Albon, and third last year was Yuki Tsunoda. So yeah, I don't think second in that year counts as much as it does in a few others, but it definitely counts for something. And last year, in his rookie season, during a global pandemic, during a 17-race calendar, he was on track to beat his Mercedes driver teammate. And I know George Russell got a little bit unlucky last year in a couple of times, but Nicholas Latifi finished 11th 3 times that year. One of those times, only 11 cars finished, but to finish 11th, first you have to finish, so... And his performance at Hungary was pretty impressive as well. During qualifying, he was only slowed down by the fact that he had an issue with his car. It was apparently cutting out. And considering George Russell was not having a particularly good weekend, that could have easily been the first time Latifi outqualified him. And we all know George Russell is supposedly Mr. Saturday. His expertise are in qualifying. And then over the race, we saw him pretty easily beat Russell. Of course, Russell did say on the radio that he would be willing to let his teammate take the priority strategy. It's always something to keep in mind, I guess. And does rather dispel all of the rumours of George Russell not being a good teammate to Lewis Hamilton, should he go to Mercedes next year, which he obviously will. Feel free to clip that if it ages poorly. Right before the Hungarian Grand Prix, though, Nicholas Latifi did post a picture of himself riding a tank. I'm not sure if that helped. Maybe the FIA needs to crack down on tank riding as an illegal form of testing. I mean, that Williams and a tank are not necessarily dissimilar. Maybe we'll see the Haas and the Alpha drivers also going out and practicing on T34s over the coming weeks. We did hear yesterday, though, from Williams that they have said that they are no longer reliant on pay drivers for their future, and a lot of people have taken this to mean that Latifi's losing his seat next year. I think that this performance in Hungary means he probably won't, and while they probably don't need pay drivers, Doralton Capital, the current owners of Williams, I don't think they're going to say no to that Lavazza, Safina, Michael Latifi money at the end of the day. And Michael Latifi does own some of McLaren Group, but I don't think that means there's a spot opening there anytime soon, unless you like to believe in conspiracy theories. Nicholas Latifi to replace Daniel Ricciardo for 2022. I think I'm trying to say, right, to get into F1, you need skill and opportunity, and having a billionaire for a father increases your opportunity quite significantly, but you still need to be good. And I think Nicholas Latifi has been proving that as much as he can, that he deserves a seat in Formula 1. He almost certainly isn't the best driver on the grid. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. But historically, we've seen pay drivers who are particularly awful, and I don't think Nicholas Latifi fits that category. I think he's also a good personality to have on the grid, and if he does end up not having a seat next year, that will be a huge shame for the sport, even if they don't know it yet. But of course, that is just my opinion. Tell me what you think down in the comments below or over on the Discord server. Like the video if you liked it, share the video if you think anyone else you know might as well. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers now. We've passed 500, thank you all so very much for that. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing by clicking that red button and maybe turning on notifications as well so you never miss a video. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you next time.